Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
I'm husband.
And I'm wife.
Together, we're reading the Bible for the very first time.
We grew up without religion and wanted to know what all the fuss was about.
Well, what have we learned so far?
That God is a dick, and apparently some people believe in talking donkeys.
We're not trying to pass ourselves off as experts.
Nope, we're just reading the Bible for the first time and giving our first take reaction.
If you'd like to join us in this venture, you might consider starting at episode 1.
Otherwise, jump in wherever you like.
All right, let's go read the Bible.
Yeah, let's get to it. Husband!
Wife!
Do you remember what happened yesterday and where the hell we are today?
Well, yesterday we read Ezekiel Chapter 18.
We sure as fuck did.
And in that chapter, we actually were introduced to a new concept in the Old Testament that we hadn't come across before, which was personal responsibility and not being punished for other people's sins.
As in the sins of our fathers.
Right, yeah.
Are visited upon us.
It was very Jesus-y sounding. Like,
weird.
What the fuck is happening?
Right.
And I'm like, okay. So all of a sudden, Ezekiel gets this new message from God and is like, so no more, 10 generational punishment things going on?
Right.
And I'm like,
Did you just rewrite the Bible, Zeke?
Right? Yeah.
What's going on?
I feel like enough people complained and they're like, you need to change that bit. And they're like, okay.
Whatever will make you will be God and stay away from the idols, man.
But it's God. God's supposed to be infallible, right?
Unchangeable.
Yeah. And yet, this is a big one.
Yeah.
It's huge.
It is pretty huge.
And again, like it's so big that it's like the whole difference between the Old Testament and the New Testament, right?
Yeah.
Except for that here it is in Ezekiel.
Right.
It threw me off guard. I wasn't expecting to come across it yet. I was waiting for the New Testament.
Right. Yeah.
But it's right there.
Very strange.
Crazy. Before we get into what we're doing today, I do want to mention that we are in the midst of our Patreon drive where we're trying to get to a $400 per month level to take care of some of the needs that we have for our podcast right now. And we do have, I've got more shout outs to get to do after today, but we've got a new patron that I want to shout out today. Mm-hmm. And that is Kyla. Kyla M. Just signed up as a new patron. And they are, I didn't hear anything from them, but I'm hoping that they must like our podcast and we like you.
Thank you so much, Kyla. So sweet. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I hope that we see you around town and the Patreons and the Discords and that you come say hi and hang out with us.
Definitely. Yeah. We couldn't do this without your help and everybody else's help that's on Patreon. You guys are absolutely incredible.
Phenomenal.
And the response that we're getting while we still need more has been absolutely out of this world. So I thank you all for chipping in what you're able to do. And if you are still out there thinking, hey, I might help them, we could still use your help.
Even $1 a month goes far.
It
honestly.
does. Yeah. When you add it all up, like it's a collective effort, know? And we really do appreciate you guys more than you could possibly imagine. So thank you, Kyla. It was amazing. So thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Kyla.
That being said, we just got done reading Ezekiel chapter 17.
18.
No, 18. Jesus. I'm sorry. It's 18.
Yes.
Which means that today we're getting into
Ezekiel chapter 19.
All right. Let's do this.
Okie dokie. All right, here we are hopping into Ezekiel chapter 19.
Or as I like to call it, Ezekiel chapter 19.
Big E, here we go.
All right.
I believe we're going to be reading a lamentation.
What's up with this? We're doing proverbs and
parables.
Psalms and parables and lamentations, and there's a lot of weird crap going on in this chapter.
It's so Old Testament.
Right?
With a New Testament font.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Like this is all like Ezekiel is definitely one of the weirder books we've read thus far.
Because it's like what everybody accused Nickelback of being, like all over the page, couldn't pick a style and just stick to it.
Right.
Like when I woke up one day and everybody hated Nickelback, I was like, why? What happened? And everybody was like, no, we've always hated them because they can't pick a style. They just, one song has nothing to do with the next and they can't pick a style. And I was like, but that's cool. And I didn't get that memo.
Yeah.
And I still like Nickelback, so fuck off. But anyway, yeah, Ezekiel's just like, I don't know what I'm writing, so I'm going to just throw everything at you and hope some spaghetti sticks to the wall.
Right.
Very weird.
Yeah.
Take up a lament concerning the princes of Israel and say...
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
We got some parable shit coming up.
Great.
Okay?
Yeah, I can't wait.
What a lioness was your mother among the lions. She lay down among them and reared her cubs. I have some notes.
Okay.
She brought up one of her cubs and he became a strong lion. He learned to tear the prey and he became a man-eater. The nations heard about him and he was trapped in their pit. They led him with hooks to the land of Egypt.
All I can think of is that last sentence you read just completely went through my brain without processing, because the only thing that was going through my brain was, oh, here she comes.
Watch out, boy, she'll chew you up. Oh, here she comes.
She's a man-eater.
She's a man-eater. Yeah. When she saw her hope unfulfilled, her expectation gone, because, you know, they took him away to Egypt.
Right.
She took another of her cubs and made him a strong lion.
Okay.
He prowled among the lions, for he was now a strong lion. He learned to tear the prey, and he became a man-eater.
That's
Look out, boys.
Okay. Yeah.
She'll chew you up.
Yeah.
He broke down their strongholds and devastated their towns. The land and all who were in it were terrified by his roaring.
Are we talking about, this is Israel we're talking about, right? Or
Okay.
Judah or something?
So
like,
why don't
what is happening
stop and why don't I just read some notes?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So, although the prophet realized that God's judgment on the sinful people of Judah was fitting, he felt sorry for those Judean kings who fell victim to foreign invaders. Okay.
Okay.
Judah, he's comparing Judah to be like a mother lion whose young lions became kings to rule over nations.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
However, when Egypt in 609 BCE gained control of the region, Jehoahaz, who succeeded his father Josiah as king of Jerusalem for 3 months.
Sure.
Okay, and remember, we like Josiah. He was the good boy.
Okay.
Okay,
right.
He tried to do away with all the idols and the high places.
Right. Yeah.
But then he was replaced by Jehoahaz, his son, was deposed by Pharaoh Necho II of Egypt.
Right.
He was captured, bound, and taken to Egypt, where he later died. So that was the first lion that they were referring to.
Okay.
Okay. The next quote-unquote lion had all the fierce and aggressive characteristics of Judah's next king, Joachim.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So then in verse 5, where it says, when she saw her hope unfulfilled, her expectation gone, she took another of her cubs and made him a strong lion, right?
Yeah.
It's like, what's all these lions? What? But here's the thing. 2 of the last 4 kings of Judah, Jehoahaz and Zedekiah, were born of the same mother, Hamutal, and the same father, King Josiah.
Huh.
Interesting.
Okay.
I didn't really realize that somehow.
Right. No, I didn't either.
They were like full blood brothers.
Right.
So that's what it means. Like, basically, not just Israel, but the mother saw one of her sons get made king and then fucked up. And then so she put the next one on the throne.
Got it.
As the next lion.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And Joachim died not in a foreign country, but in Jerusalem. His son and successor, Joachim, was captured and taken prisoner to Babylon. And although Joachim reigned only 3 months, he showed he had the same evil characteristics as his father.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, in verse 9, where it says, with hooks, they pulled him into a cage and brought him to the king of Babylon. They put him in prison so his roar was heard no longer on the mountains of Israel.
Okay.
Okay. That's the fate of Zedekiah, the last king of Judah, who was appointed as a king in Jerusalem in 597 BCE by Nebuchadnezzar II of Babylon to replace Joachim, but who later rebelled and was captured and brought before Nebuchadnezzar in Riblah, where 1, his family was killed, like his sons were killed before.
Yeah.
And 2, he was made blind. And then 3, he was taken as prisoner to Babylon until his death.
Got it.
Okay, so this is all just talking about those fucking kings.
Well, I mean that's all well and good, I guess, but like I feel like there's not a lot of love lost between the kings and God in previous versions of what they did.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yes, some of them did some good things according to God, but they all did bad things also. That pretty much, except for maybe like Josiah.
Josiah was good, I think, all the way till he...
But like the rest of them, there were some issues, right?
Yeah.
Like they weren't perfect. So like, what is this pining over lost kings? I don't understand it.
It's not like pining over the kings themselves. It's pining over Judah having lost their kings, having lost their way and thus lost their kings.
Okay.
And it's more about a leaderless people. Got it. Watching, like, we keep having these kings go up and either, be killed or do evil in the sight of the Lord. And, our kings can't get their shit together. And this just sucks.
So it's almost like God's acknowledging that Israel had bad leadership.
Mm-hmm. But let us never forget, though, that in Judges, they chose to have their own kings.
Yeah.
That's what the whole Kings and Chronicles was about.
Sure.
So God's like, yeah, but you guys did this to your fucking selves. So he's like, you have bad leaders because your leaders are human. And look, this sounds like I am like a Bible scholar, like explaining the Bible to you and like I understand it because I believe it. And that is exactly not the case.
No, I understand what you're saying. Like, I get what you're saying. I don't know how I feel about that because I also know that God has talked about in the Bible, that he is able to change people's hearts. He's able to make things happen. He's all knowing, knows everything's going to happen.
Not in this chapter.
Whatever. I don't fucking care. It doesn't matter. But he doesn't do those things. Like, instead, he lets things happen to the point where he has to kill off most of his people.
Right.
And including, like, he was talking about killing children, like, I mean, like, it's bullshit. It's bullshit.
No, totally. But this is mostly, what's his name? Ezekiel talking.
Okay.
So,
all right. Well, that makes a little better sense, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, he's like talking about, the kings having not been the wisest choice and not done what they were supposed to do and leaving the people a mess.
Okay.
So whatever.
Sure.
Okay, so then the nations came against him, that second lion, those from regions round about. They spread their net for him, and he was trapped in their pit. With hooks, they pulled him into a cage and brought him to the king of Babylon. They put him in prison, so his roar was heard no longer on the mountains of Israel. Okay. So my notes got a little bit ahead of me, but that
it still sheds light on it. Yeah, okay? Right.
So now we're caught up to the notes that I had. All right. Okay. So now we're going on. Your mother was like a vine in your vineyard planted by the water. So, I mean, we're going back to the comparison to vines and shrubs and branches and shit.
Right.
It was fruitful and full of branches because of abundant water. Its branches were strong, fit for a ruler's scepter. It towered high above the thick foliage, conspicuous for its height and for its many branches. But it was uprooted in fury and thrown to the ground. The east wind made it shrivel. So that would be, invaders from the east.
Yeah.
It was stripped of its fruit. Its strong branches withered and consumed them. Now it is planted in the desert in a dry, thirsty land. Fire spread from one of its main branches and consumed its fruit. No strong branches left on it fit for a ruler's scepter. This is a lament and is to be used as a lament. The end.
But make sure you use this as a lament.
You better use this as a motherfucking lament.
If you don't use it as a lament, it wouldn't be a lament. So that would be tragic, I think.
This is not a fucking knock-knock joke over here, guys. Don't do it. Okay?
Yeah.
This is not what the party clown is going to recite to the kid's birthday.
Right.
Okay?
Right, yeah.
Don't do it.
Right.
Okay? This is not a graduation speech.
No.
This is not a doctorate dissertation.
No.
Okay?
Yeah.
This is not a State of the Union address by the president.
Right. Right.
Okay? I'm telling you all the things it's not. It's not a driver's license.
Nope. Yeah.
Okay? So these are all the things it's not.
But it is definitely a lament.
It's a fucking lament, y'all.
So, use it as a lament.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So just to finish up where we were, Judah is pictured also as a strong, healthy vine, and her kings as fruitful branches of that vine.
Okay.
Okay. And the vine then withers and is taken along with its last rightful king. And that would have been Joaquin. Not its last king, its last rightful king.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
I know, because we were both like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
that was
Zedekiah, right?
Yeah. Into the dry and thirsty land of Babylon. And then back in Jerusalem, the king appointed by Babylon proved to be a fire who destroyed the little that remained of the vine. That's Zedekiah.
Okay.
Though through Zedekiah, both the nation and the Davidic line of kings came to an end. And I still say a little bit of justice for Zedekiah. He was in a no-win situation. There was no way, as a puppet king trying to make more than one party happy and stave off invasions from all sides.
Right. And
he was never going to make a good leader.
No, and I think he did attempt, based on our reading of the Bible, he did attempt a couple of times to kind of take the Israeli side of the conflict between Babylon and Israel.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out so well for him, no matter what he did.
Right.
People either didn't like him for taking Babylon's side, or Babylon fought against him for taking, Judah's side. So,
right, exactly. And I mean, let's not forget, this whole time, the kings just before him had been either placed on the throne or been killed by Egypt. So the same time that he's dealing with fucking Babylon, and he's got Jeremiah, this goddamn double agent, running around fucking shit up.
Yeah.
He's also legit still dealing with Egypt.
Right. Yeah.
Like, let's not pretend that it was only Babylon.
Right. That's true.
Are you guys going to help us? Are you guys our friends? Yes. Oh, but no. Oh, yeah. Oh, but no, though.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, I just feel like he's got a bum rap here.
I mean, yeah, like you said, it was not easy. It couldn't have been easy. So.
There was nothing he could have done.
Yeah.
So I just think that it's shitty to say, like, Zedekiah fucked that up. Did he? Or was it just a shitty situation?
Right.
Like, he walked into a fucking wreck.
It was definitely a shitty situation. Yeah. For sure.
And also, since he was placed there by Babylon, I think it's really shitty to be like, oh my God, he was totally doing what Babylon wanted. Like, yeah, no kidding. Babylon put him there. What was he supposed to do? It's fucking Judah against goddamn Babylon with the Chaldeans and all the other Assyrians and shit.
Right.
Fuck off. I'm sorry. I just have a lot of sympathy for him.
Yeah. No, I got it. Yeah.
So, okay, we're done with that, though.
Awesome. All right. Well, so that was Ezekiel chapter 19.
Yes, it sure as fuck was.
And don't forget to use it as a lament. It's going to be a lament, guys.
I just lamented but was angry. I don't know. Decide for yourself if anger can be in a lament.
I sure. Yeah. Maybe.
I mean, did I do it wrong? I don't know. You decide.
But we'll let them. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Y'all let us know.
All right. Thanks for joining us tonight, guys. That was Ezekiel chapter 19. And we will be back tomorrow with.
Well, I have a question for you.
Tomorrow is Saturday.
Yeah. So are we going to go ahead and do Ezekiel chapter 20? Or are we going to do a Q&A over 4 chapters? Or are we going to do both? Are we going to do the Q&A on Sunday instead of Saturday? Because it's a book club?
I honestly don't know.
Okay.
So we'll have to discuss that. But I think maybe we only did 4 chapters, like you said. So maybe what we could do, and we did, we kind of covered this chapter that we just did today. So that only really leaves us with like 3 chapters to cover. So what if we did like the, Ezekiel chapter 20 with like a little bit more of a Q&A at the end of it or something?
Okay.
That might make some sense, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
I mean, the Sunday is normally a book club because we did a Patreon last weekend, so I don't mind if we need to skip out on the book club this week.
That might make. We'll talk about it.
This is how we plan.
Yeah, we're planning right now here on the air because that's the smart way to do it. So.
You are hearing us figure out what the fuck our lives are. I'm sure you guys
love this bit where we plan what we're doing the next day and at the end of the week because we're like. We literally don't know when we're sitting here planning it while we're wasting your drive to work.
Yeah.
Or whatever you're doing, your exercise routine or, your morning cup of coffee. You're sitting here listening to us plan our fucking podcast.
No, what you're listening to is us admitting that we do not have our shit together and we know not what we do.
Right, yeah.
Forgive us.
So regardless, we will be back tomorrow with something.
Right, that is correct. So, that is a fact.
Yeah, so that being said, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
With something. Bye.
Hey, wife, I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep, we have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegiousdiscourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.